services. It's been welcomed by farmers, but they also say the government needs to come up with a bigger picture plan from here. Agricultural Management Company is a specialist agricultural management and advisory services provider. Charlie Blomfield is the Managing Director and the CEO and joins me now from the Brisbane studio. Charlie, great to have you on the program as part of our discussion again. Thank you. I wonder if we can just step through some of these main elements with you to understand how they work, starting with the income support and also the concessional loans. Just explain exactly what is on offer there for farmers.
Yeah, sure. The income support is really for day-to-day expenses within a farming family. It's provided in lieu of the exceptional circumstances scheme, which was running through to the end of June. So they've brought that forward to next Monday, which is fantastic. So that's some immediate support that's available. Which is great. The concessional loans program was available beforehand, but now we have a definite picture of what's happening with that. It's a stopgap at the moment and provides funding for immediate relief, which is fantastic and welcomed by the industry. But some investment in longer term outcomes and planning is also required to make the best use of it.
Yeah, those concessional loans, you don't really think that kind of delivers a solution to what is at the heart of the problem, Charlie?
Debt, it's not removing the problem. It's a refinancing solution that for some will provide an interest rate relief on those payments, as it's interest only for 5 years, but it needs to be paid in full in that 5 years' time, or be refinanced with a commercial lender should they wish to accept that at the end of the 5 year.
Big question mark over that though, isn't there? In 5 years' time, you know, we don't really know what the appetite of a commercial lender, for example, might be towards an agricultural loan, do we? I mean, practically, how does that work out for people? How much of a help is that? Yeah,
that's right. If their interest rates currently, you know, they may have been locked in at previous rates, 7 or 8%, something like that, then the 4% rate on offer from the government is a help for the value up to $1 million. However, we're currently in a low interest rate environment, so in 5 years' time we're not quite sure what that's going to look like, but chances are we'll be in a higher interest rate environment. So if you're refinancing that $1 million loan again in 5 years' time, there's a good chance that it'll be at a higher interest rate. So producers need to take that into account of when and how they pay that back over the next 5 years.
There's very high debt levels in the rural industry, I'm reading at the moment. Why, you know, at this point in time, do we have such high debt levels? Because, you know, some commentary is saying this probably is one of the key differences at this point in time to, say, previous drought experiences that we've had.
Yeah, rural debt has been climbing over the last decade in particular. However, farm values also had an incredible run, so debt naturally climbs as equity does as well, and people borrow more to expand operations. In some of the tough areas, interest that may have been outstanding or accrued was sometimes rolled into term debt. So on an isolated, instance, that can have an impact on, total debt. But really, it's just through expansion of the industry and people being more aggressive with debt in the last 10 years than what they would have beforehand. So it took a correction for us to put a spotlight on it, and now you see people's attitude towards debt changing, and it's not just in agriculture; it's every industry since 2008. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it was huge. 2008, and it's affected in our behaviours in so many ways. The other elements of this package, the additional money for water-related infrastructure rebates, and also pest control, wild dogs, other pests. So there are existing programs which have been built on in this package. I mean, how useful do you think the money there is being spent?
Well, the water infrastructure program's an absolute cracker of a program. I mean, it was taken up very well in New South Wales in particular due to the number of irrigators. Queensland was also taken on well, even down to the capping and piping of bores program that was done a few years ago. So investing in infrastructure is one of the ways the government and producers can actually get some long-term benefit and increase productivity, also increase efficiency. So any programs that are going to assist with that are highly beneficial. The pest program that's been put forward. If you just take wild dogs alone in Queensland and New South Wales, it's had a massive impact on the livestock industries, in particular the sheep industry. I mean, the decline in the sheep industry in Queensland and Western New South Wales has been marked, with the rise in wild dogs. So some more assistance to get on top of that is greatly appreciated by the industry.
And I know you're pretty pleased with the extra mental health support, where previously there have been programs around financial counselling. This is more specifically towards social and mental health. So I know that you're a big supporter of that. You alluded to something earlier, though, and you said basically, what's the plan from here? A lot of this is, in the end, band-aid solutions or, getting us through emergency circumstances. What do you feel about the longer term and what you probably would have liked to hear more on from the government today?
Yeah, I think the package that we've got today is immediate support, and that's what we needed most right now. The next stage is that longer term plan. So the government and the Department of Agriculture and National Farmers Federation are working on that longer term plan, and there's a number of people in the industry that have input into that plan as well. But perhaps one thing to think about is maybe taking an approach. We've just seen the G20 Ministry of Finance meetings, and maybe taking an approach similar to how they've taken it in terms of investing in long-term productivity growth, investing in long-term access to capital, innovative finance, enhanced cooperation, decreasing barriers to trade, all those sort of things. We need to come up with a longer-term plan similar to that focuses on all those objectives, not just thinking about farming in general, but thinking about the supply chain and trying to increase some of that profitability at farm gate. If we can do that, it'll reduce the need for this again, because there's nothing to say that we won't get another one of these droughts in another 10 years' time. So we don't want to have to go back and outlay this program again in 10 years' time if we can do something about it beforehand. Yeah,
or even in 5 years if, there's still drought conditions and those loans already need to be refinanced. It's so great to chat to you today, Charlie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brooke. Cheers.
That's Charlie Blomfield there from the Agricultural Management Company.